Hello, middle school parents. I started drafting emails and letters and trying to get out information to you guys the best way I know. I started doing this months ago, trying to figure out what's the best way to communicate with you guys. And honestly, I haven't yet because I really didn't know what to tell you in this ever changing landscape. And so, in my 20 plus years of teaching, coaching in this district, I finally had to take some of my own advice, things that I would tell my own students and players in terms of controlling what I can control, and getting out the information to you guys so you guys can make the best choice possible for you and your family. Um, and in doing so, preparing and expecting success without blame is one thing we always talk about with our teams. So here's what I do know. Um, I do know that safety is the number one priority at CPU. Um, and I also know that it's not just a school issue. We can talk about safety all we want, and everyone wants to know what the school is going to do, and that's great. That's what we're here for. But we know that it's that holding people accountable to safety is we have them for 7.5 hours a day, okay? And we're going to do our absolute best to keep those kids safe. But we need a community support in order to do so. We have to be working together the whole time for our kids, because that's just who we are. Values. I'll start with values here. So the terms, as far as just that we're learning here, and we're probably sick of hearing in terms of social distancing, and now hearing things about not sharing, and we're isolating and doing contact tracing and all the things, and these new vocabulary terms and things we hear all the time. I just want everybody to be aware that those are some of the things that we're hearing all the time, and we're working our best because it's safe. That those things, they fly right in the face of the values that we hold dear at CPU. And I'm not saying we're not going to keep kids safe and do those sort of things. What I'm saying is that here we pride ourselves on empathy. We pride ourselves on collaboration and talking through things and working together and teamwork. We pride ourselves that sharing is caring, that we help others. We pride ourselves on inclusion. I think we're probably one of the most inclusive schools in the state, if not the nation, in terms of we have kids walking around every single one of our buildings with different abilities, and we mix those kids around all the time so that they can show those abilities off to everybody else. And so we don't have the haves and the have-nots, and so that we build relationships, and you wouldn't believe the friendships that grow from those sort of things in terms of making sure that our kids aren't isolated to a certain group of people. And so I just want us to be aware of that. We have to be very creative in keeping our safety, but also not losing the best parts of us as we move forward. All right, mitigation. That's one of the main things that people are asking me about, and I'm getting emails and calls on in terms of, okay, what are we doing, and how, building specific to district things. And so we've been working on all these mitigation practices and cleaning and sanitizing and disinfecting, all the things that we're working on. And so, what's the day schedule look like for my 6th, my 7th, my 8th grader? And so, first of all, when you walk into the building, as far as our students, as far as there's going to be hand sanitizer stations as soon as you walk in any of our entrances. 6th graders will go to the MP room early in the morning. Some of our students get here at 7:30 in the morning because they want to hang out with their friends. 7th and 8th graders go to the gym. That'll continue, but by 8 o'clock, those students, we're going to have them report to their first block class, and so they can, so that way they can social distance in a classroom, and we have supervision for them, and we know where they're located, because it's just we can't keep that many students in the gym or the MP room after 8 o'clock. Anytime a kid, when they move from first to second block, students are going to wipe down that desk. Our students are going to only go to the lockers as certain amounts of time in the day, and so we won't have to, after every time a bell rings, we're not going to have kids going out there for this and that to get some supplies. We're going to allow them to have backpacks. That way they can have all their supplies in there. We're going to try to limit the amount of times they need to go there. We're hoping that they can go there once in the morning and then once in the afternoon in terms of getting their stuff for their afternoon classes and specials or exploratories, and then once at the end of the day to get their stuff and put things away. We're trying to stagger passing times So once again, we don't have kids out there, so we have some holding places as kids transition from class to class. Once again, talk about backpacks, Chromebooks. Try check those out during second blocks. You have them the rest of the day, so that we don't cross-contaminate from one Chromebook to the other as they keep going in there. Then we'll have them charged at the end of the day, so they're right back ready for the students for the following day. Water bottles, we have one filling station right now, hands-free water filling station. We're getting 2 more. Mentioned how we're going to wipe down each desk and chair. Lunch, we're going to have staggered times with lunch. We're going to have probably assigned tables for students. Now that doesn't mean for the year, but as far as we're going to need to know where people are sitting, so if anything does happen, as far as we know where they're sitting and who's next to them, so we can have some supervision and some contact tracing around those sort of things. Rec, we're trying to get rec. We've had in the past for 6th grader. We want to have rec for our 7th and 8th graders again starting this year. A lot of that we're going to try to do outside if the weather is nice, since we're looking at the fall and the spring in terms of making sure that those sort of things that we can do that stuff outside. And once again, I'll say a lot of stuff is going to look different. It's going to be fluid as far as getting teacher input, getting student input, and making sure that we can keep kids safe. But the plan we have in day 1 may not be what it looks like on day 4 or day 10. So we can always get better at these mitigation strategies. Dismissal at the end of the day. We already have kind of a staggered dismissal, so I'm not too worried there. We have to tweak a few things, but we already have Urbana bus riders leaving at a certain time, as far as Center Point walkers leaving at a certain time, and then Center Point bus riders. And so we just have to work. We're just have to tweak some things in terms of what rooms they're going to go to, and keeping kids isolated and social distance there. Face coverings. We're talking about. That's been a hot topic and topic of debate here recently in terms of what's mandated and what's strongly encouraged and recommended. And so just know that our goal is to get as many students back in this building as possible and keep them in here for as long as possible. I talked to a few students the other day about masks and stuff like that, and it's interesting because their view was they talked to 5 or 6 kids the other day that just out walking around, and they told me, I will do whatever I have to do to get back to school and see my friends, my classmates, and my teachers, because that's what I want to do. And so if I have to wear a face shield, I have to wear a mask, I have to clip something to my baseball hat, I will find a way, but I need to see those people again. And so that just kind of tells you in terms of our kids' mindset that they miss their teachers, they miss their friends, and they can't wait to get back to school. And so I'll go back to that as far as me personally. I'll wear a mask, I'll wear a face shield, I'll wear both. I will let students cut my tie every single day if I have to, if I can get them in this building and get them in front of our outstanding teachers. And once again, as far as I expect success, and if I can get kids in front of our outstanding teachers, that's what we have to do. If you remember, we have an accelerated plan that we put in place last spring. Our teachers have worked hard over the summer with some of their digital learning and some of the things that they've been working on, strategies. And so we have that for our students that are going face-to-face, that accelerated plan, and we want to see that thing come to fruition and let those kids get those things, along with making sure that we build those relationships. Because we're not just going to walk in and start on the academic piece right away, because we have to make sure that our kids build those relationships with our teachers. That was one of the benefits that came out of during the shutdown in March, was that our kids and our parents and our staff had already had great relationships. So it was easy to do a Zoom. It was easy to do some of those things in terms of, because they had great relationships with each other. That would be very difficult to start that way to begin the year. So once again, as far as the face coverage, we're going to strongly recommend. We're going to do lessons. We're going to try to do anything we can. We know we have staff and students with health conditions. We know we have students and staff that have families with health conditions. And so our number one rule that we always talk about with our kids is being kind. And so if we can be kind and it helps somebody else and it allows people to have success and allows people to stay in here and get the education that we want them to have and that they need to have, and the parents want them to grow and to have successes and also fail forward, that's what we want to do. And so we'll do whatever we can to help each other out. Okay, in closing here, we'll do our absolute best to keep your child safe, and educate them to the best of our abilities. Our motto, to lead, learn, and grow here at the middle school has not changed. That's exactly what we want to do, and we need to do, and we will do for your child. But we also need your help. This is not just a school issue. Once again, we're going to have to work together. We have to make sure that we're how we're going to work together and why we're going to work together, and the communication it has to be open. And so you can always contact me. You can contact the teachers, but we want to make sure that your child has success, and that we create opportunities for them, not just for 2021, but down the road, that they can be the best version of themselves. So reach out if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon.